Oh, wow. Ben Shapiro definitely simplified his message.
Israel good, Tucker bad. Sending your tax money to Israel good. Listening to Tucker bad.
Very good, Ben. As of course, now we got the rules of what to follow as, of course, the internal MAGA Republican Civil War is definitely ratcheting up between Nick Fuentes, Tucker Carlson, and the new establishment right that went out and took the knives out, as there's a major canceling effort of Tucker Carlson for daring to platform someone that he disagreed with, that he pushed back on, as now the full frontal assault is mixed in with a lot of very interesting arguments that we're going to be going into, especially when it comes to the future of the Republican political party, which is more fractured and divided than ever. Douglas Murray released a very emotionally manipulative New York Post piece that we're going to be getting into as well here, as now we have Ben Shapiro officially responding with a lot of old receipts, as Nick Fuentes has responded, Tucker Carlson, Dave Smith have responded in their own particular ways, and this type of back and forth jousting and fighting will be happening for the foreseeable future. As right now, we're living in a very interesting time that I think is worth talking about. And if you agree, share this video with your friends and family members. We greatly appreciate all the time that you spend with us. As of course, subscribe, click the notification button if you want to see more of these types of videos. As Ben Shapiro now is someone who a lot of people are bringing out the receipts for, as well as Milo Yiannopoulos just posted this with an angel emoji smiley face, posting a Ben Shapiro post all the way back in 2016 saying that here are the 20 alt-right friendly or alt-right people outlets. Have at it. Posting it specifically to Hugh Hewitt. And who's on that list? It's Jared Taylor, Richard Spencer, Alex Jones, Mike Cernovich, Ron Paul, Pat Buchanan, Milo Yiannopoulos, Ann Coulter, and Donald Trump. Yep. As we have to remember, Milo Yiannopoulos keeps pointing how Ben Shapiro was a never-Trumper. And he made videos like this saying Donald Trump is a liar. And a lot of people believe that he did everything possible in order to prevent him from becoming the president of the United States in 2016. And now there being a major shift here, Ben Shapiro is now lecturing people about what MAGA is, which is pretty rich for a lot of people, as he has released his own rebuttal, his own response that has garnered 25 million impressions. That means people scrolled through it on Twitter. In his post, he says, no to the gripers, no to the cowards like Tucker Carlson, who normalized their trash, no to those who champion them, no to demoralization, no to the bigotry and anti-meritocratic horse-ish, no to anti-Americanism, no. There's a lot of people here responded to this in very interesting ways. As I think the simple argument is like, you're the never Trumper guy. All right, you're the guy telling everyone to get the procedure dope. And Candace Owens responded to this by saying, I feel on an editorial point, it was completely unnecessary to include me in this anti-Tucker rant. Alas, I shall have to respond, as a lot of people are like, okay, now we get this kind of respond economy, interpersonal drama economy. And listen, there's some things that Ben Shapiro has been wrong about. There's some things that he has been right about. I think we had a very interesting response here from one of my friends who said, this is from Cersei, at Cersei. She says, this is the most engagement he's gotten since owning college students in 2017. As of course, Ben laid out his argument here.
On today's show, we're going to cover one topic in depth. That topic is, I think, the most important thing happening in the country. It was a hot topic last week, but I wanted to take some time to really gather my thoughts and speak on it in coherent fashion.
Clearly, this is a kind of an orchestrated council mob type of event. When I see these type of stuff, we've seen similar incidences against Joe Rogan where they went up all the old stuff he said, and then they make it, oh, look, he still believes those things. And again, maybe some of those things that Nick or Tucker said, they believed. Who knows? Maybe they deserve clarification. Okay. But everything I'm kind of seeing here is very well orchestrated, very well organized. It goes along with the conference. It goes along with a sign-making campaign. It goes along with a concerted effort and push with the same type of talking points that are inundating social media that there's no escaping, right? Many people that I don't follow, boom, it's like, oh, Tucker's horrible. Hey, did you hear today Tucker's bad? Hey, did you see all the horrible stuff he said before? Now, again, if we're going to be making this argument, but Ben Shapiro didn't like Donald Trump. There was also a time, to be intellectually honest, where Tucker Carlson didn't like Donald Trump, and there are private text messages of him saying that he just wants him to go away. To be intellectually honest, that is also true. Who's going to be deciding the MAGA faith? Well, no one is. The people are. The general consensus, the will of the American people, as of course, there's a divide. The older generations love the more kind of neocon boomer type of establishment, type of Dick Cheney type of thinking, as today we are also met with the end of Dick Cheney's life. I don't like to say bad things about people when they pass away, so I won't give extra commentary on that. But I think this might be more of a symbolic type of turning point where a lot of the older kind of boomer, more neoconservative, more give foreign aid and bomb other countries on behalf of other countries, foreign policy doctrine is kind of going away. Younger people, overwhelmingly, and this is why they had younger people at this conference saying, Tucker's not MAGA, whatever. This is why younger people are saying, no, America first. We got too many problems here domestically. We need to fix the economy. We need to fix so many of our addiction issues, so many of our health issues. We have no time to spend money bombing other countries and destroying our goodwill around the world and playing police of the world. We want to take care of America. That's a big difference, right? And then listen, this other side, in my opinion, is losing. They're losing on viewership. They're losing on influence. And why? Because the older people that usually attribute and like that type of style of old thinking, they're going away. Old people are less manualable. They're less able to change their mind. They're less able to be open-minded. They're more stuck in their old type of neocon boomer ways, right? And when brains get old, they hardened, right? They literally... it's almost extremely difficult for old people to learn new things or change their habits or change their routines. Young people are more kind of adapt to change, and that's why they have changed dramatically from the old Republican right.
Holistic fashion. That topic is the fragmentation of the political right.
Now, the fragmentation is coming, especially with their full-on, full frontal assault for an interview that Tucker did. And again, Tucker didn't do the best of jobs doing that interview. Sure, you can make that argument, but to make that your number one concern when there's so many important issues with the economy, with people's health, with domestic policy, with government shutdowns, with civil strife, with the leftists becoming more and more unhinged every single day, you would think that we would have a concerted effort to try to deal with those issues in a way where we're actually all on the same page. Nope. Tucker bad.
This was always going to happen. Fuentes didn't do it. I didn't do it. Certainly, you didn't do it. No individual did it. It was just inevitable because the consensus itself was fake. It was totally fake. And now we're getting into what Ben Shapiro used to celebrate, that fabled marketplace of ideas. And he's going to go bankrupt in that marketplace because there's very little support for his position, which is fundamentally lobbying on behalf of a foreign country. And
listen, say what you may, when you look at Ben Shapiro's policies, that's what it boils down to. No, you need to not say anything bad about these initiatives that don't serve you, that you're paying for now. Now, some would say that's an unfair characterization. I say it's a pretty fair one, especially with the way that things have been going, especially with the way that I personally understand them. Now, I am, of course, very biased on this particular case here, as, of course, I know Tucker, I know Dave, and I have my own particular viewpoints that align more with them than they do with Ben Shapiro. But Ben Shapiro has a very hard task. He says, listen, out of all the problems we're facing, we need to do whatever Israel wants us to do. Why? We need to spend all of our money on them now. Why? You're against the war in Ukraine, but you're for wars in the Middle East. He said, yes, we got to protect it. And I'm like, how about we don't finance any of the wars, and therefore the wars would stop? That's a novel idea. It's a crazy idea, but I think it's worth trying, especially since the old orthodoxy is absolutely crazy. Now, before playing the rest of this, Tucker Carlson, Dave Smith, and then Nick Fuentes type of response to all of this, and getting into this kind of emotionally manipulative type of low-hanging fruit type of attack against Tucker, we just quickly wanted to remind you to check out thebestpoliticalshirts.com, where you could get shirts like the one that I'm wearing right now that came from a very viral video. You just type out "find out" into the search bar right here, and then bada bing, bada boom. We'll have the shirt up in a little bit here, and we'll make sure that it's going to be available as soon as this video is released. Now, lots of really funny, crazy videos. There's going to be also a lot of really crazy things happening with the government shutdown. I mean, there's reports of airports potentially soon being shut down, TSA, air traffic control at their limits. There's also now reports of EBT SNAP benefits being fully cut off. We'll get into that in future videos. I started to do live streams too at the end of the day, so subscribe, click the notification button for those. But this is a great shirt. The one I'm wearing right now it's pretty funny. It's pretty hilarious, and it's a great way to get people active, engaged, and to start thinking about what is actually going on in this particular wild and crazy world. Engage in the culture war and have fun doing it while meeting like-minded people. This is your way of doing lazy forms of activism that are really funny, and I can't recommend it enough, especially when it comes to finding your tribe, your people in your community. As of course, the tribes are dividing very seriously. Here's what else Tucker and Dave had to say about this particular moment in time where people were told, hey, do everything for this other country. And everyone's like, I don't want to. And they're like, oh, you hate them. Like, no, I just love myself.
No one wants to do that anymore. Why would they?
No, one of the things. So I was watching a little bit actually of Ben Shapiro's show today. Liam McCullum, who is a good friend of mine and super smart young kid. Again, not being condescending, but I'm 42 and he's in his 20s. But he sent me the episode of Ben Shapiro today, so I'm pretty pissed at him for that. That's not a cool thing to do to a friend. But I did watch a little bit of it, and he's going, he's like he's sitting there and he's going like, Tucker Carlson, and then just completely like, in a demented way representing your view. Tucker Carlson, the platforming of Holocaust deniers and this and loving Nazis. The American people hate that. The American people reject that.
This is as members of Congress, a part of this type of coalition, an orchestrated type of PR, propaganda marketing team that just came out a few hours ago against Tucker Carlson, came out and literally compared Tucker to Hitler. They're like, oh, he's the new Hitler. And I'm like, really? Really? This guy that was pushing back against Nick's more type of radicalized views, this guy, really? He's the guy running the Hitler Youth, allegedly? Insane.
And meanwhile, there's just this amazing feature about, the new decentralized media landscape where, like, we can all look at the numbers and we can see who's gaining in relevance and who's losing it. And the fact is that, like, Nick Fuentes is ascendant. Candace Owens is humongous. She's been breaking records. So you were the biggest show at cable news, got fired and got bigger after that. But again, you can just look at the numbers. They're all right there. And Ben Shapiro went from being like the king of the online conservative guys to being very much a laughingstock. And
as a lot of people are describing these kind of last death blows by the establishment neocon, right? That a lot of their kind of fervent boomer supporters are also dying out. The Quartering had some interesting commentary today when it comes to Douglas Murray's New York Post article that writes, right off brand, conspiracy kook. This is how they dehumanize you. This is how they attack you. This is how they try to undermine everything you're doing. Conspiracy kook. He's a kook. Tucker Carlson is no conservative and no friend to Charlie Kirk. Who are you to say that? Like, what? Tucker and Charlie were close. They were friends. He's no friend. He's crazy. What? That's an unhinged type of comment to make here. As the quartering writes, Jeremy Hambley. So nobody cared about this totally not coordinated attempt to cancel Tucker Carlson, and now they have to invoke Charlie Kirk's name and a pathetic appeal to emotion. Desperation is a stinky cologne. Absolutely, 110%, as Nick Fuentes responded to Ben Shapiro by inviting him to a debate. And then he had this to say.
But today, it was a clip show. Today, it was like a full-fledged Fuentes Updates clip show. It was like America's Funniest Videos. One clip after the other. 40 minutes, no ads. That's how you know they mean business.
Yo. Oh, come on. Usually, you listen to Ben Shapiro, there's a lot of ads. A lot. It is telling.
When Ben Shapiro turns down the money from the advertisers, when Ben Shapiro doesn't do, let's say, 50 ad reads in a 50-minute video, that's how you know they mean business. He will literally do an ad read at a pro-life march. In person, he will give a speech in real life at a pro-life march about abortion, and he will stop and do an ad read for ZipRecruiter. But when you're talking about anti-Semitism, there's simply no time. There's no time. We mean business, because this is something we really care about.
Now, listen, the memes, the humor, the laughter, the nonchalantness, the non-taking yourself seriously, the kind of vibe, it's with the anti-establishment right? Now, the establishment right, paying all the money, they have all the big donors, they have all the big support, they have some of the support, the control of the algorithms. The algorithm on Twitter changed very dramatically. I'm seeing so much hatred towards a lot of these individuals, but there's only so much you could suppress and push away a lot of that. There's only so much you could say, no, stop it, shush them, shut them up, as of course, naturally just starts to rise up, regardless of what you want to happen.
No ads, 40-minute video, and about 50% of it was just my clips. Fuentes this, Fuentes that, he's a Nazi, sexist, Holocaust denier.
Now listen, Fuentes says a lot of crazy radical stuff. That's how he gets a lot of attention too. But if you look at his kind of ascension, it's pretty much because of not just kind of saying sensational stuff, but also the reaction that it gets and people trying to cancel him. Now, this is where the big mistake that I think Ben Shapiro and the establishment right are making. They're saying, Tucker, you should have been mean. You should have been angry. You should have canceled him. You should have spoke out against him. How dare you platform him and not challenge him and be so aggressive? It is because people have been so aggressive against Nick and canceled him against some of the more salacious type of things that he says, is why he is where he is right now, because of the kind of overreaction from a kid saying some wild, crazy stuff. And he said some wild, crazy stuff. Some of it I agree with, some of it I disagree with. Is it my job to disavow everything and be on edge and totally say, no? No. That type of policing of speech doesn't work. And the more you try to speak out and police it and try to control it, the more it just gets out of your control. And that's, I think, what we're seeing here with this turning of the page, with this kind of transition, with this overall change that's going to be very bumpy, because the people who have to relinquish power don't usually like to do it peacefully. And the people who are gaining that power are usually their kind of attack vector. And whether they like it or not, these attacks, I think, are only going to be escalating from here. They're only going to be growing from here. People who are losing power are only going to become more desperate, more aggressive. That's what I see. How low will they stoop? I don't know. But I think people have to start to consider their safety. I think there's a lot of self-sabotage amongst the right. I think this conversation is very regressive. I think this conversation is very destructive. We should be hyper-focusing on building coalitions and fighting the left type of crazy, manic, violent individuals out there that are trying to normalize violence against right-wingers. That's what I think we should be focusing on. And these guys are saying, no, destroy it all, burn it all down, if you don't get rid of this person and this young person saying crazy stuff. And everyone's like, dude, it's just a young person saying crazy stuff. Convincing me if I'm wrong. Let me know. Let me know what your arguments are down in the comment section below. Again, I appreciate saying loud, crazy stuff. I haven't said it's crazy stuff as Nick has, but I say some pretty wild, crazy stuff too. I make some t-shirts about them too on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And that's a great way to support me if you want to. I appreciate a few of you that you do. And this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more. All here exclusively on youtube.com/wearechange.